gonna change the title? Yeah, you did. Okay,
All
good.
praise, all praise to the Most High. What's going on, y'all? This is your boy Avias podcast.
Keep it righteous and I talk cause we
We
reap what
are
we sow.
here.
This that God music,
Brother,
you know that holy flow. We loud about our God, we don't
I
keep him on
always
the
say
low.
around them
The
parts.
spirit in our hearts, milk and honey in our flow. Keep it righteous and I talk cause
I've
we reap
been
what we
practicing
sow.
trying to see it.
Praises up to Yahweh,
Before I
almighty
started
power
the
that never really wanted to
and I
devour me.
feel under
Then he
pressure. I
came to
messed
me
up.
and set
Under
me
pressure,
free
I messed
from all the
up. Sorry,
demons that
y'all.
were holding me in poverty.
After the brother Aki Ka. And today we got a special one for y'all. We are doing Isaiah 58 and what the Most High requires of us. And we're going to get it from a scriptural aspect, from the language, and we're definitely going to peel back the layers of this scripture. Because, Yom Kippur is coming up, and I want to make sure that everybody understands, what's going on, and just and formulate your own opinion, and then go and seek Yah and ask him about it. Because at the end of the day, like we're just the ones that's just presenting the resources and the scripture for you to get it. But you gotta go and ask Yah. You gotta go and do your studies. You gotta go and do your research, and and get better and do better and be better. So without further ado, I'm gonna let my brother go ahead and introduce himself again, because this is his segment. But we definitely gotta, for those that don't know him, for those that do know him, here he go. Here he is. All praise. Go ahead and introduce yourself,
All
brother.
praises. Shalom, shalom. Welcome, everybody. I'm honored to be. What's up? Shabbat shalom, everybody. I'm very excited about being here today again. I don't know. Can you hear the music? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, good. So yeah, you were getting a little bit
Yep.
background. Thank you, everybody, for joining today. It's such an honor and a privilege to be here today to talk to you about what they would call Yom Kippur, which is they would say the Day of Atonement. In my honest opinion, Isaiah chapter number 58 is something that we need to look at a little bit more carefully and more closely. I think that when we try to, combine Isaiah 58 with the Day of Atonement, that might be a little problematic for us. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through it, and we're going to find out and ask some questions and have a discussion about it. Aviyah and myself are going to talk about it. And then, of course, you are more than welcome to, put in the chat, ask any questions about how do you see it, or what did you understand about it? Okay. Because one of the things that we want to make sure that we do is we want to uphold the law. That's what we want to do. We want to uphold the law of the Most High. And, we have to be very, very careful about that's what we want to do. We want to uphold the law of the Most High. The background, and, we have to be very, very careful.
Definitely have to be very careful when it comes to this law.
Yeah,
And our due diligence.
we have to be very,
Can you hear
very
me?
careful.
Definitely have to be very, we definitely have to do better when it comes to the law.
We have to be very,
Can you hear
very
me?
careful.
Definitely have to be very feedback. Definitely have to do better when it comes to the law.
We have. Do you think that happens when it's on your mic or something? Can you hear me? Can't hear me? We're having some technical difficulties.
All right, is that better?
Yeah, it's better.
You can hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. It's still kind of an echo, but I don't know. We'll work through it. What
Yeah,
works
that's
better
the
when you put me on mute
better.
or when you mute your mic when I'm talking and then unmute what you want to talk?
Yeah, I have to. I'm sorry, y'all. have to I have to mute the TV and then mute myself so y'all can hear him and there won't be no residual feedback. So this work with me. I'm trying to get this together. This is a new, like I said, this new equipment, new place, new situation. So just work with me, y'all.
Okay.
Work with me, y'all.
No worries. So let's start over from the top. Okay. Um, like I was saying, one of the most important things that we need to do as his people is accept what he has stated in his law. When we're reading the book of Isaiah, Isaiah is a prophet. Okay. He's talking, so he's a prophet. So he's talking to the people. Um, do me a favor, Aviyah. Can you pull up Isaiah chapter number 1? All right. We want to understand what is he saying. Okay. And we want to understand who this prophet's talking to. And we want to understand why he's saying what he's saying. The way that we've learned before is that go to chapter number 1.
Chapter number 1. Okay. Let me just share.
On our podcast, what we want to do is we want to teach the people on how to read the scriptures. You don't have to know the Hebrew language. It's good to know it, but I want you to know how to read it and to know your audience, okay? And know who the prophet's talking to. Okay, this has always been a problem for us because what we're used to is someone taking a 1 or 2 lines out of what the prophet said and then creating a teaching. So I want you to go to chapter number 1, verse
All right,
number
here you
1.
go.
Are you there? Okay, can you make it larger
Yep,
so
we
everyone
right
can see
here.
it? Yeah, enhance it,
Okay.
make it bigger. All right, good. Thank you, brother. So,
Okay.
chapter number 1, verse number 1 says, the prophecies of Isaiah, son of Amos, who prophesied concerning Judah and Jerusalem in the reigns of Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, Hezekiah, the kings of Judah. So, this right here is a framework that we need to work from. He said that these prophecies are during the times of Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah. Those are 4 kings. And the prophecy is not to Yisrael, the northern kingdom. This is talking to Judah and Jerusalem. Okay. And when it's talking about Judah, it's also inclusive of Benjamin because it's talking about the 2 kingdoms or the 2 tribes that were left over in the southern kingdom. So all of his prophecies are dealing with them and is dealing with the time of those kings. And that's the reason why we have the problems that we have. Now go to chapter number 58. Aviyad, did you hear that?
Yeah, I heard you. Yeah, I heard you. I'm about to do it right now for you.
Okay, so while he's on chapter number 58, let me decode this for us. Okay.
Okay.
Because like the title says, decoding Isaiah 58, and what does the Most High require? Right? What does he requires? It's what he requires. Because we have
What
a lot
verse
of
do you
questions,
want?
especially while we're in exile and why we're
What verse you want me to go to?
verse number 1.
Okay, here we go. All praise to the Most High.
All right. All praise to the Most High. Now that we know the audience, the time, the environment, the location, we can better understand 58. Okay. Now, it says this. He says, cry with a full throat without restraint and raise your voice like a ram's horn and declare to my people their transgression and to the house of Jacob their sin. Verse number 2. To be sure, they seek me daily. Okay. Eager to learn my ways, like a nation that does what is right, that has not abandoned the laws of its God. They ask me for the right way, and they are eager for the nearness of God. I'm using these English words because the audience or people that are listening, they don't know the Hebrew, so I don't want to confuse you, okay? So before we go any further, this is something that Isaiah is conveying to the people of Judah, and he's letting them know, like, you guys are asking me to learn my ways. You're saying that you're doing what is right. You're saying this, and you're acting as if you have not abandoned my laws of its God. Okay. And they ask me for the right way, and they're eager to be near Elohim. So in context, in order for them to be near to the Most High, they're going to have to keep his laws, and they're going to have to do what he says. They cannot abandon what he says. They have to, in order to be just and to do what's right. Now let's go to the next verse where it says why, and then they ask the question. They're asking a question in verse number 3 here. It says, why, when we fasted, did you not see? When we starved our bodies, you did not heed. Because on your fast day, you see to your business and oppress all your laborers. The question would be, is the Most High talking about the Day of Atonement? That's the question. So keep this in mind, verse number 3. Why, when we fasted, this is the question he asked, you did not see? When we starved our bodies, did you not pay heed? Because on your fast day, you see to your business and oppress all your laborers. I'm here to tell you that the Most High is not talking about the Day of Atonement.
Mm.
He's not talking about the Day of Atonement. So Aviyah asked me, Akika, what are you talking about? Why do you say he's not talking about the Day? What do you think it is?
You're right. I mean, honestly, I always thought that this was a fast that, like how we was like, well, we fast to get close to the Most High. We fast to be heard by the Most High. We fast to just like it was like a way to open up a door to get to the Most High. I can't say I never did, but I didn't think that it was attributed to the Yom Kippur. That verse 3, I never thought that.
Okay. So what we need to do is we need to and forgive me for talking slow. I just want to convey the message as clear as possible. We need to reference the Most High's law and make sure that we're on the same page. Okay. So Isaiah is not trying to educate the people about Yah's law. Okay. So he's not giving any instructions. What he's doing is giving a condemnation. He's letting them know, like, you guys are
Shalom, shalom. Did we lose you? Our praises. As we are going through Isaiah 53, y'all. You know how we do it. We got okay, there we go. He's back.
You there?
Yeah, let me. Yeah, I hear
Okay.
you. I hear
Was
you.
that me?
Sure.
Okay. So was that me? Did my device go
Yeah,
out?
yeah, you kind of like froze up, but we back with it. Let's go.
Okay. So forgive me, guys. So basically, what I was saying is that Isaiah is not giving you a prophecy. Isaiah is not instructing the people in Yah's law. He's not explaining the law. He's not telling you the law. He's just telling you how the Most High is condemning them about their behavior. Okay. So, what I want to do is, I want to make it clear what is Yah's law. And then you compare it to what Isaiah said, and then you'll know that he's not talking about his law. Because one of the things that was pointed out is that he says that you have your laborers working on this time. So if we go to Leviticus chapter number 23, verse number 23, that's where we should go. And we're going to talk about Yah's law. And then what it is that he requires of us and what we should be doing and how we should commemorate this in particular time called the Day of Atonement or Yom Kippur. So Avi, I'll pull it up for us. Can you see my screen?
Okay, there we go. Yeah, there we go. I just put it.
Can you see my screen?
I'll make it bigger.
Here, let me see if you can see my screen. Can you see my screen?
There we go.
Okay. Well, can you see my screen?
Nah, hold on, let me put you up there. Nah, I can't see your screen. I got
I'm
it
trying
pulled up
to,
for you.
yeah, I'm trying to. It says stop screen.
There you go.
All right, so I can pull it up again. All right, that's fine. All right, so listen. Do you guys see right here in Leviticus chapter number 23? Let's go in verse number 23. Okay. It says, "Speak to the Israelites, the Israelite people, thus: in the 7th month, on the 1st day of the month, you shall observe complete rest a sacred occasion commemorated with a loud blast. Okay, so that's on the first day. That's called the Yom Teruah. Okay, you shall not work at your any of your occupations. You shall bring an offering by fire to Yahweh. Okay, so that's on the first day. That's called Yom Teruah. Let's continue to read. Okay. Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, mark the 10th day of this 7th month. It is the day of atonement. It shall be a sacred occasion for you. You shall practice self-denial, and you shall bring an offering by fire to Yahweh. You shall do no work throughout that day, for it is a day of atonement, and on which expiation is made on your behalf before Yahweh your Elohim. Indeed, if any person who does not practice self-denial throughout the day shall be cut off from kin, meaning family, okay, his people. And whoever does any work, anyone who not good. Anyone who person that does any work on that day or throughout that day, I will cause that person to perish from among the people. Do no work whatever. It is a law for all time out the ages in all your settlements. Did you hear that, Avia? Can you hear me?
Yeah, that's definitely eye-opening. That's definitely. I mean, I've read this scripture many times, and now I'm looking at it in a different light. But go ahead, bro. I'm listening. Definitely.
All right. So basically, everyone, Most High has determined that in his law, it's going to be from generation to generation. It's for all the ages in your settlements and all your time. So Isaiah 58 is not talking to you about the Day of Atonement. Okay. The Day of Atonement comes from the idea of the golden calf. I don't know if you knew that, Avia. Did you know that?
Right.
The golden calf
originate from that.
Yeah, that's sin. So when he was deciding, right? So some of the requirements for the Day of Atonement is don't do any work, afflict yourself, don't wear any jewelry, nothing. Take all your jewelry off, and mourn and grieve and humble yourself. Okay. So the reason for that is because it directly connects with the idea that when they sinned against the Most High by making that golden calf, he told them to take off all your jewelry so I can decide what I'm going to do with you. Am I going to destroy you or am I going to keep you? So that's the reason why on the Day of Atonement, you're supposed to afflict yourself because you're sitting waiting to commemorate him deciding about what I'm going to do to you. That's why you don't supposed to be eating on that day. Because on that day, when he was making a decision about whether or not they were going to continue, they weren't sitting around having a barbecue and they weren't eating. They were scared. They were terrified at the judgment of the Most High. That's what that's about. And the way that you get to somebody, if you look at the contrast between when they were in the wilderness, when they made the golden calf, what were they doing?
They was sinning, idolatry.
But they were partying.
Yeah.
They were eating. They were drinking. They were having a feast. So he's like,
Okay.
and they were, remember, he had them draped when they came out of Egypt. They had all the gold on. They were partying. They was, committing sexual acts. They were doing everything, taking their clothes off. They were naked. And Moses came and said, how'd you let the people get out of control? They were having a feast. Remember what Aaron said? Tomorrow will be a feast to Yahweh. That's the reason why. That's the Day of Atonement. So when the Most High had to determine what he was going to do with the people of Israel, he decided that you guys are not going to eat that day. You take everything off. You don't eat any food. And you afflict yourself and you think about it, because now the Most High is thinking about what he's going to do to you. So every year that we celebrate this and we think about it, we're supposed to remember what happened with the golden calf. We're supposed to be thinking about the idolatrous practices of our ancestors. We're supposed to be thinking about how the Most High wanted to wipe us out. That's what we're supposed to be thinking about. So when you have these people telling you that you don't suppose that it's okay for you to not eat, or you can eat on the Day of Atonement, right? Like you said, they try to say in 58, let's go back to 58 and let's hear what he says. Because he's talking about people that are working. You got people working. So we know that's not the Day of Atonement. They got people working. So Israel used to have different fasts at different times for different reasons. The Most High called on the fast to the people to fast to show their grief and their sorrow. But he's not talking about the Day of Atonement. Okay? So in Isaiah 58 right there, if you look at it, we talked about how he told his people that they were a bunch of rebels. Okay. He says, I need you to declare to the people they're a bunch of rebels. And then you said that, you guys are acting like you're doing the right thing. I'm summarizing it. He says, when you starve your bodies and when we starved our bodies, you didn't take any heed. You didn't pay no heed. You didn't pay no attention to when we were doing this. Right. He says, because on your day, right? Because on your day, scroll down a little bit or up where I can see it. Can you scroll up?
What verse you need?
I'm just trying to look at it so small I can barely see it.
Okay, hold on. Let me make it bigger for you. I'm sorry.
All right. So he says that, you guys are acting like you really delight my way. Scroll down so we can see. It says, like, to be sure they seek me daily. They're eager to learn my ways, like a nation that does not, that does what is right. You guys are pretending to do those things, right? But then he says, you guys are saying that I don't pay any attention to what he says, because on your fast day, not the Day of Atonement, on your fast day, you see to your business and oppress all your laborers. So people are working. That's not talking about the Day of Atonement. He just said anybody doing any work is going to be cut off from their people and cut off from the land. He says, because you fast in strife and contention. So what these people were doing, everyone, when they were supposed to be focused on the fast, they were using the people and laboring. And he says, because when you fasted, no, go back now. He says, when you fasted, because you fast in strife and contention, he said, you strike with a wicked fist, and your fasting day is not such, right? Your fasting today is not such as to make your voice heard on high. Most High is specifically talking about how they were dealing with other people. And he's saying, in such this fast, I desire a day for people to starve their bodies. He's asking, is this really what I'm looking for? And the answer to that is no. Okay. To summarize it, he tells us what he's looking for. So no, he says, no, this is the fast that I desire. And the fast that he desires is to unlock the fetters of the wickedness and untie the cords of the yoke, which he's talking about how you're treating people. Okay.
Right.
So they thought that the casual fasts that they were having, not the Day of Atonement, that they were making themselves right with the Most High. And he's saying, no, the way that you treat people, the fast that I'm looking for, he's saying, fast away from not just, humbling your body in terms of afflicting your body, but do that which is right. And this right here is not concerning the law. This is not concerning the law. This is something that they would do, the fast that they would do. Okay. So he says, in such the fast, I desire a day for people to starve their bodies. That's not what he's looking for from them because of that in particular fast, because the Day of Atonement is a perpetual law. So he's not talking about that. Okay. He's not talking about that. And anyway, he's not talking to you in this passage. He's not talking to us. These people are in the land. These people have laborers working for them. These people have a priesthood. These people are together as a community. These people are in Jerusalem. These people are in the cities of Yehuda. These people, Isaiah's talking to them. These people have a king over them. So he's not talking to you, Israel. He's not talking to you, house of Jacob, that is in exile. Now that we solve that problem, and the question is, what does he require of you and I? What is the Most High requiring of us? Some people say what's in Deuteronomy chapter number 10. Let's go to where the Most High is going to tell you what he's requiring. Let's go. Deuteronomy chapter number 30. That's where we're going to start.
Yeah, this is a good reference too, right here. Like this one. Let's go there. Deuteronomy.
He's not requiring you to do nothing in chapter number 58. He's talking to them. Let's go to wrong. There you are. You need to pay careful attention to this chapter. Okay. First verse says, when all these things befall you, the blessing and the curse that I have set before you, and you take them to heart amidst the various nations to which Yahweh your Elohim has banished you. So he's talking to the individuals that have been banished. He's talking to the individuals. Don't go any further. He's talking to the individuals that have been banished. He's talking to the individuals that are going to be scattered among the nations. To keep it in context, this chapter is being spoken by Moses to the children of the individuals that died in the wilderness. So this is the second generation.
Right.
These are the people, the children that made it who didn't die in the wilderness. Huh?
Isn't that what Deuteronomy's mean in Hebrew? Is a second retelling or something like that? It means second retelling.
The second time. Yes, the second giving of the law. He's telling us, and here's the part that you need to understand, okay, before we go any further. Now, this might blow the mind of the listeners, okay? It might even blow your mind. When he says, when all these things befall you, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I think it's like a little lag between seconds or something like that, but it's right there. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, no worries. So here's the part that we need to pay attention to. Do you see that word? It says, when all these things befall you. Do you see that word, you? Avia?
Yeah, I see it. Yeah.
Okay. In Hebrew, on the right-hand side of the screen, he says, okay, that aleka, meaning that's going to come upon you. Yeah, right there. You got it. Aleka, right there. You see it? The aleph, the lamed, the yod, and the cough, the final cough. The fourth word over, Aleka. Wahayu ki de yava'u, Aleka. Next one. It's the fourth word. There you go. Aleka. Right there. Yes. Highlight that. Highlight Aleka. The ayin, the lamed, the yod, and the cough. It's the fourth word from right to left. So the first one is Wahaya. Yep. It says Wahaya ki de Yava'u Aleka. The first line, that word right there, Aleka. The last word in that sentence right there. Wahaya de ki Yava'u Aleka. Right there before you. You're right. Yours perfect. You highlighted it. Good. Nuh-uh. That's nuh-uh. Go back. The way that you just had it, you presented it, it got larger. You made it larger.
Okay. My bad.
I want to tell the people about this use. Okay. Not having good reception. Something's wrong.
Is that the word you're looking for right there, boss?
It's the one before it.
The one before. Okay. This one right here.
Yeah. Hey, could you share my screen?
Okay.
Share, because I want to be able to instead of me asking you to do it, I should be able to just, it'll make it easier because it's hard because you don't.
Yeah, if you put it up, then once you put it up, it'll come up on a screen jar right there. Just share your screen and I can put it up there for you. I'll take that down.
All right, cool. All right.
Okay.
All right. All right. So I got it. It says that it's available to do, right? So it says it's sharing, right? Let me see. Can you see it?
There we go. Yeah, you just was sharing
got
it.
it? Okay. Can you see it now?
Yeah, be patient with us, please. we trying to get it together. Now, I can't see it for some reason it won't. I don't know why it ain't sharing. One thing that while we doing this, I do got a question.
So it makes it. It just makes it difficult.
Yeah, it is making it difficult.
Yeah, it just makes it. It just makes it difficult.
He's trying to stop this. We not gonna let him, y'all. We not gonna let him. I'm gonna let one.
I think the technical difficulties are causing a break in the. I don't know. Do you think it's the internet?
Nah, I don't know what it is, bro. Like, it could be a number of things. I just sent you another advice, so you could probably put your screen up. But as we doing this, I'm gonna just put mine. I'm gonna share mine. So.
Also, you sent me what?
I sent you another invite, so you could probably you can add something. Okay, I'll share my screen for right now. We work with us, y'all. We trying to do it. But one thing that I was going to ask him about this is that when it comes to Isaiah 58, a lot of people have said that,
All right, I'm back. So can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah,
Okay.
we good, bro.
Are we good? Okay.
31, 30 right here.
All right. Can you see my screen?
Let's see.
Because it said that it's being shared. It says this tab's content is being shared.
Yes. Why I ain't sharing it? It did it the last time.
I don't know.
We go get to it, y'all. This here. No, bear with me. I'm new to this, y'all. Like, I'm trying to. Okay, there you go. There you go.
You got it?
Share with me. There you go.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you got it now. Okay. So can you make it larger
Okay.
so everyone can see it? There you go. So that's my screen, right?
Yep.
Yep. All right, good. So look, I'm just going to walk us through it. I'm not going to try to see myself at the same time. I'm going to chapter number 30, right? You guys, so we're there, right? Can you see it?
Yep.
All right. So what I was talking about, everyone, is this word right here. That's the word I'm talking about. Okay, it's called a leka. I'll make it a little bit bigger for you. Okay. All right. So let's get an understanding, because what we're failing to do as a people is we don't understand when we're reading this. We're trying to apply certain things to ourselves that don't apply to us, and the things that do apply to us, we're not applying to ourselves. Okay. So you see that right there? You see that word aleka?
Yeah.
All right. That's talking to you as an individual. This little letter right here, that cough right there, aleka, is talking to you. That's singular. Okay. So he's not talking to everybody. He's talking to you as an individual. So in Hebrew, the letters at the end of a word to tell you if I'm talking to a group of people or if I'm talking to someone single. So here, this in particular letter is used all the time, as you can see right on the second line right here, lavavika, right? So he's talking about your heart, your heart. That ka right there is you. This ka right here is you. This ka right here is you. All this is you. Okay. Right here is you. Okay. All of those are you. Right here, Eloheka, your Elohim. Are you following me?
Yeah.
All right. So
Yeah.
we know that chapter number 30 is he's coming to a conclusion of talking to the children of Israel, correct?
Correct.
Who's the audience? Who is he talking to?
He's talking to he's talking to that generation that came up out of Egypt, but they were the children at that time.
Yes, and those people had children too, right? So they all started having more kids. Everyone who went against the Most High, they died. Okay, so here in his final conversation, he's addressing that generation. So when he says, "When all these things befall you," when he says, "All these things befall you," the blessing and the curse. So that in particular generation, he says that the curse and the blessing is going to befall you, that I have set before you. And you take them to heart amidst the various nations. So who's in the various nations?
That's a good question.
If he's been addressing this to the you was, or are they standing there? Was that individual? That individual was standing there. He said that I set before you.
Right.
He says, when you take them to heart amidst the various nations, which Yahweh, your Elohim, your singular, has banished you. Tell me, Ak, this is what's going to be mind-blowing for those who are watching the podcast. How is it that he's talking to the ones who've been banished, but they're still in the wilderness with him? This is the secret to the Torah. I was going to share it last week, but it was just too much information.
I think because at this given time right here, he's talking to them that were there, and he was talking to future generations, because it was a scripture. I can't put my finger on it, but I remember it said, and Moses was saying, I'm speaking to you that are here and you that are not here.
Right. Right. So that's in that's in Deuteronomy chapter number 29. We're talking about Natsavim, those who are standing here and those who are not, right?
Right.
So I'm addressing you, but right. So check this out. So the you that's being mentioned right here was banished to the nations.
Right.
So the individual that's banished and who's among the nations right now is the individuals that the information was set before. So let me ask you a question. Did the nation or did the people that he was talking to on that in particular day, because Deuteronomy is a one-day event, by the way, when Deuteronomy, he was speaking to them that day and he set before them the blessing and the curse that day, he told them that you are going to be banished. You are going to take this to heart while you're amidst the nations. So let's ask the question. Did those individuals that were there that day when they received this information, were they banished to the nations?
I mean, I would say later on, they're later generations, but not them people, not them actual Israelites that were there at the time, but the later generations were, yeah.
Okay. So when he says that you were banished, right? I'm going to banish you. Okay. He told that generation that they're going to be banished. Okay. That generation went into the land. Did they not?
Right.
Right?
Right.
And it said that they did everything that Joshua told them to do. And they did what was upright in the Most High's eyes when they lived in the land. Correct? That's correct, right?
So was this a future tense type of scripture right here?
Well, what this is
myself. I'm bad.
No, you asked a great question. Here's the secret to understanding this, or the understanding that a lot of people don't know. Okay. When Yah is telling this generation that they were standing there that day, that they're going to be banished. Not a future generation. They're going to be banned. When you individual, you're going to be banished. So the individual that was standing there is the one who survived, that he said, you're going to be banished. Okay. This was a promise that he made to them. Okay. So here it is. So let me show it to you. So we're in Deuteronomy chapter number 30 right now. So let me show you in Deuteronomy chapter number 4 that he tells that generation that I decided to banish you. But they never went to banishment. At that time, their physical bodies didn't go into the nations, but their souls went into there. Okay.
Wow.
Okay. So listen.
Okay.
Start at verse number 27. It says, so you can see it. And this is in Deuteronomy chapter number 4. And he's talking to the second generation. And what does he say? Yahweh will scatter you among the nations, among the peoples. You're going to be scattered. You. Okay? And now, here's the deal. It's not a et ka, it's a et kim, talking plurality. Yahweh is going to scatter you, the people who were standing there that day. The souls that were there that day are going to be scattered among the peoples. And only a scant few of you, individuals that are there, not another future generation, will be left among the nations to which Yahweh will drive you. There, you, okay, there, you are going to serve the gods of wood and stone, made by human hands that cannot see or hear or eat or smell. But if you search there, you will find Yahweh, your Elohim. If only you seek with all your heart and all your soul. And when you are in distress because of all these things that have befallen you, in the end, talking about the Akarit Hamayim at the end of time, then you will return. Okay? This returning into the Most High is this word right here, Ad Yahweh. That word right there, Ad, means to be a witness. So when it talks about you returning to the Most High, it's saying you're going to witness. You're going to be a witness to him. You're going to testify to him. And the question for us is, how are you going to witness about him? What is your testimony? Your testimony is not going to be the New Testament. Your testimony is going to be, because this first letter right here is the ayin, which means the eye. The next letter is a dalet, which is the door. The eye of the door. And that's what you get the idea of being a witness. So that's when it says you're going to be a witness to Yahweh. That means you're going to testify to his name. That means you're going to acknowledge his laws. That means you're going to keep his Sabbath. It means that you're going to acknowledge the set apart times. You're going to acknowledge Pesach. You're going to acknowledge Shavuot. You're going to acknowledge first fruits. You're going to acknowledge Yom Teruah. You're going to acknowledge Yom Kippur, which is a day of atonement. You're going to acknowledge the Sukkot. You're going to acknowledge the diet. Because this right here means to return to the door, the tent door. That's where they received all these words. And it says you're going to obey the voice of your Elohim. Now here in the English, it doesn't say your voice. But here it says Bokolo, his voice. Kol means, right here, means voice. That's what kol means, voice. That O right there means his voice. So with his voice, Bokolo. So when Yah talks about his voice, he's talking about the words that he has spoken to you, individual that were scattered among the nations. This voice here, the first letter is a Kaf, and a Kaf means to gather. This next letter right here is a Lamed, which means the shepherd's staff. So gathering to the staff, like when a shepherd calls out to his sheep, the sheep respond to the shepherd. That's what he's saying. You're going to return to his voice. Do you understand? So this will happen while you are scattered among the nations. Verse 31. Why is this going to happen? Because Yahweh, your Elohim, is a compassionate Elohim. Right? That's who Yahweh is. You can find this in Exodus chapter number 34. He is a compassionate Elohim who will not fail you or let you perish. And here's the kicker, will not forget the covenant. He's not going to forget the covenant he made on the oath with your fathers. And he's talking about the covenant he made with our fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. He's not going to forget that covenant. Neither is he going to forget the covenant that he made with our fathers who were out Mount Sinai. And I'm going to show that to you in just a moment. Because you asked the question, what shall we be doing and what does he require of us? He's telling us what he's going to do. So the first thing what you need to do and what I need to do, okay, is he said that if you search, you're going to find him. And if you seek diligently with all your heart and with all your soul, going back to the first command, which is telling us that we should love Yahweh with all of our hearts and all of our souls and all of our might. Shema Yisrael, Yahweh Eloheinu, Yahweh Echad, Wahavta et Yahweh Eloheka, and Ivekol Levavika Nuva Nafshika, and Uvekol Meodeka, which is telling us, listen, Israel, Yahweh is one, and you are to love Yahweh with all of your heart, with all of your soul, and with all your might. And Wahayu Hadavrim Ha'ele, and all these words in which I'm speaking to you today shall be all levavika upon your heart. So if I'm telling your heart in Hebrew is your mind, right here, levavika. First part of that letter right there is la, meaning talking about the authority, the shepherd's staff, and the bet is the interior. So is the authority within. That's your heart, your lav is your mind, the authority within. So he's asking for you to give him all of your mind, not some of it. And in this word, all is called, and called means to be the palm with the staff in the hand, meaning to be tamed by the Most High. So the individual that is going to turn back to the Most High is going to put the shepherd's staff, okay, to be led and guided, to be tamed by the Most High. They're going to be tamed by the Most High. And the way that you get tamed is saying that Yah is your shepherd. You can say like King David said that Yah is my shepherd. I shall not want. You know, Yahweh Roi, lo exar benot tishe. Yarbaseni almeina minakota yanahalani. Yah is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He leadeth me down the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Okay? Before you lay me down, you set before me the table in the presence of my enemies. But again, he's looking for someone with everything, all of your mind and all of your soul. That's what you're supposed to be doing. And you're supposed to be seeking Yahweh diligently. You will only find him only if you seek him with all of this. You will not find him if you're listening to the the New Testament, or if you're singing your way out of it. That's not seeking Yah. Okay. Then he says, while you're in your distress, you who I'm talking to in the wilderness, you're in your distress. Where? In the nations, because all these things have befallen you. What's the blessing and the curse? And in the end, you will return, meaning you're going to turn back and be a witness to the Most High. 31. Your Elohim, Yahweh, is compassionate, which he already told us that, and will not fail you. He will not allow you to perish, and he will not forget the covenant that he made with your fathers. Okay? You have to but inquire about the past ages that came before you, ever since Elohim created human beings on earth, or humankind, from one end of heaven to the other. Has anything as grand as this ever happened? Has it ever been known? Anything like it ever been known? What is he talking about? What is he talking about? Because he's saying, like, if I scattered you to the nations and you seek me, you could go back from the time that he made humanity and find out that what I'm going to do for you, I have never done for anybody else. Well, I thought you brought us out of Egypt. I thought you came and got us out of, you delivered us. So you must be talking about something different, because he said, go search and find out in the ages that ever came before Elohim ever created humans on the earth, from one end of heaven to the other. Has anything as grand as this ever happened, or has it ever been known? What is he talking about? I'll tell you what he's talking about. What he's saying is, I have a group of people that I have in the wilderness that I'm telling that I'm going to send them into exile. I'm telling them I'm going to banish them. I'm telling them they're going to have distress. I'm telling them they're going to serve gods of wood and stone. I'm telling the people that's in the wilderness that this is going to happen to them. And when you, individual that was in the wilderness, wake up to who you are among the nations, then I'm telling you that I'm going to do something for you that's grand, that's never happened before. And what's never happened before? That an individual that's beyond humankind can be standing in one place thousands of years ago and still end up in a whole nother place, and he's still talking to you about what he said he was going to do for you then. He's telling you what I'm going to do for you now. You and I are the individuals that were standing there when he spoke to us. And that's the reason why people don't get it, because they don't see themselves as this. They can't see it. It's not that you're just a descendant of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It's not a descent just because you're one of the descendants of the 12 tribes. You were there. And he spoke to you, and he's holding you responsible. And the reason why he's holding you responsible, because I told you what it was. And just like I told you what I was going to do to you, I'm telling you now, you can ask anybody, has anything ever grand has happened like this? Why did Balaam want to die like you? Why did he say that I want to die like the Yasharim? Why do I want to die like these righteous people? Has it ever been known that the people who were living at one time are still the people that are living among the nations? It's never been. Has any people ever heard the voice of Elohim speaking out of a fire as you have and survived? The answer is no.
Hallelujah.
Going back to the idea of that word call, that's the voice of Yah, which is the first letter to gather. The second letter is the third letter is the staff. So he's talking. Has anyone ever heard anybody speak out of heaven like you did and stay alive? Nobody. So what is he telling you? He's saying to us that you are a special people. And he's giving you a clue that when I do come and get you, and you're going to hear my voice, and you're going to be the only people that's going to survive when I start talking. You're the only ones that ever heard me speak. You're the only ones that I ever revealed myself to. You're the only people that know my laws. You're the only people who know my diet. You're the only people that I wrote on the 12 tribes of Israel on every one of those stones. You're the only one that has your names on side of the koshin, the breastplate of the priest. You're the only people. And you don't think that you're special enough. You don't think that you're set apart enough. You don't think that you're special, that you come from beyond. The word Hebrew means one who's from beyond. You're not an ordinary human being.
We always
heard
thought
the voice of Yah and stayed alive. And the question is, has there ever been any people who have heard the voice of Elohim as you have and stayed alive? And the answer
like
is
Israel.
no.
Like Israel. I don't
You
think
see?
anybody could hear the voice of the Most High and stay alive like we did, you know?
He says that I don't know anybody else. I only know you. You're the only people that I know. You're the only people I've ever spoken to. You're the only people that I revealed myself to. Hear this word, O people of Israel. The Elohim has spoken concerning you, concerning the whole family that I brought up from the land of Egypt. Understand it and hear it. You alone have I singled out of all the families of the earth. That is why I will call you to account for all of your iniquities, all of your perversities. That's the reason why. You understand? So you and I are the only ones that the Most High has ever spoken to. Going back to what we discussed earlier, the Most High is telling you and I that you were the people that were in the wilderness. Okay? Now let me clarify it for you so you can really understand it. Okay? So you'll get it. You'll walk away today with a whole different mindset. You'll stop looking at it like it's just the Bible and he's telling me I'm just the children of Israel. You are something spectacular. Okay? But before I go to Leviticus, I want to share one more thing in the book of Deuteronomy so you can understand why you don't understand. The Most High has stated,
all praise.
he has said this, and you need to listen and listen carefully. Chapter number 29 of the book of Deuteronomy. It says Moses summoned all Israel, and he said to them, you have seen all that Yahweh has did. It's not that you just believed it. You actually seen all that Yahweh has did. He's talking to the second generation before your very eyes. You've seen it in the land of Egypt. What he did to Pharaoh and all his countries and the whole country. He did it to them, right? The wondrous feats you saw with your own eyes. He didn't ask you to believe nothing. You saw it. That's what it was. You saw it. Those prestigious or prodigious signs and marvels. Okay, listen. Yet, to this day, Yahweh has not given you a mind to understand, or eyes to see, or ears to hear. What is he saying? What is he saying? He hasn't given you a lavavika. He hasn't given you an understanding. Show me, Akika. He said, I didn't give you the mind. Where's your mind at? Right here. That word lave right there. Again, the lamed is the shepherd's staff. This first letter right here is the shepherd's staff. That first letter is called a lamed right there. The next letter is a bet, which right here talks about house or inside. So it means the authority inside. And the authority that you have inside is your mind. That's where all the decisions are made. It's inside of your mind, your inner authority. So the Most High is not giving you a mind to comprehend or to understand. He hasn't opened your eyes to see anything or giving you ears to hear nothing, even unto this day. That's the reason why you don't understand it. That's the reason why I don't understand it completely, because the Most High ain't given it to you yet. That's why he says, who's blind but my servant? Who is deaf is the one that I sent. It's Israel. You understand? Then look at what he says. The following verse. I led you in through the wilderness for 40 years. Why is he mentioning this? Because they don't know it? He's telling that you cannot see. You don't understand. You don't understand. Even though you went through the wilderness for 40 years, you still didn't understand. Even though you had clothes on your back and never wore out, you still didn't understand. Even though you had sandals on your feet, you still didn't understand. What did you want us to understand? What did you want us to see? What did you want us to hear? You said that I heard your voice, but I still don't understand, even though I heard you. What he's telling you is that you don't know who you are. You don't know who you're dealing with.
Wow, it's funny and it's hurtful in the same wow. Wow. Because
And what does he
just to
mean?
know that we sit here and read these scriptures and read and study and learn and engage and gain knowledge to know that the Most High didn't even give us a heart to a mind to understand. And I've read that scripture a bunch of times and never looked at it in that perspective.
You
That's
don't understand, but it's not only for that time. He's talking about the time that it is right now. That you don't, if you didn't understand that I fed you for 40 years, you didn't understand that nobody ever lived there. You didn't understand, you saw what I did in Egypt, but you didn't understand what I did in the wilderness. You didn't understand that okay. So when he says that your clothes didn't wear out, why didn't your clothes wear out? Why didn't your feet swell? What is he saying? What did they understand about that? I'll tell you what they didn't understand. They did not understand that being in the presence of Yah, you have to be a certain individual. Just like the Malachim and the Seraphim and all the ones, his messengers and all them, they're of a certain character and they're a certain being. He can only be around that which is holy. He can only be around that which is set apart. That's why he has to sanctify us. You understand? So what he's telling us is this: we're eternal, bro. You're an eternal being. And you don't see it that way. We saw it like, okay, well, I was born in 1970 and I'm going to die like my mom. No, you're going to go through life and you're an eternal. When Yah designed us to be around him, when he said, I set a people out for myself, he wasn't just choosing any ordinary people. When he blessed us to become his people, what he's saying is, I allowed you to be around me, and if you're around me, then you're never going to wear out. You understand? That's what he's talking about. So those of you who are listening right now, understand this. This is what he's talking about. Okay. So when he says, yet to this day, he hasn't given you a mind to understand, or eyes to see, or ears to hear, it's like you just don't know. You don't know. We don't really know. Even up until this time, we still don't know. We don't know. Okay. So in the following chapter, because that's 29, he says, so in 30, he's like, okay, well, I already told you don't know. Okay. Then in the final part of this in the final part of this chapter, he tells you something. He says that concealed acts concern our Elohim, but with overt acts, it is for us and our children ever to apply the provisions of this teaching. Me personally, I don't really like this in particular translation, but what it's talking about is that it talks about the secret things, because this word right here is the secret things. They belong to Yahweh. So the Hanis Tarot belongs to Yahweh. The Satar right here are the things that have been hidden belong to the Most High. They belong to Yahweh, our Eloheinu, right? And the things that are Wahagito Lot, the things that have been made known to us, which is called this word Naged right here, they belong to Lanu. They belong to us. And they belong to our children, right? Forever. Just as long as we allow asot, we can do all of the divrei of the HaTorah Hazot. So all the things that are secret belong to the secret things belong to the Most High. But those things that have been caused to be revealed to us belong to us, to Lanu, and they belong to the Ula Devanenu, which is our sons and our daughters, forever. So that we may be able to allow us. So may we be able to do all the words of this Torah, of the HaTorah Hazot, which is the Torah. This Torah, this teaching right here, is this right here, HaTorah Hazot. This teaching, this is right here, Hazot, and HaTorah is the teaching right here. That's what Torah is. Okay? So because we don't understand it. And if you notice, it goes directly into chapter number 30, which we were talking about. So what he's telling you is the Most High has concealed information from us that we don't know about. So you don't know that you're an eternal being. You didn't know that you're the one who was standing in the wilderness. You don't know that you're the one he said, I'm going to scatter to the nations. You don't know that, but that's why he says over 83 times that I'm going to bring you back together again. He says, once we do this, he says, for us, the things that we need to do that we read about him banishing in us, he says, you're going to return to Yahweh Elohim, you and your children, and you're going to heed, meaning you're going to listen to the Elohim's commandments with all your heart and all your soul. That's why we have to seek him with all of it. And seeking of that means that once we seek him with all of it, the thing that we're really seeking is the commandment. The mitzvah. That's what we're seeking with all of the v'kol levavika and uv'kol nafshika. That's what he's talking about. And the v'kol means the tameness of the mind, the tameness of the soul, just as I enjoined unto you this day. I enjoined it upon you this day, about you, individual. So you received it that day. So if you're returning to him while you're among the nations, then that means that you were there. And you don't see that because you don't understand it, because the Most High is hidden that. Okay? But the secret things belong to the Most High. But the things have been revealed to us is so that we could be able to keep the Torah. Okay? It says, then Yahweh will restore your fortunes. This right here is a mistranslation. It's not restore your fortunes. That word right there is Washav Yahweh. That means that your Elohim will restore and return. That word Shav right there is to return. And it's this next word is Yahweh. Your Eloheka, your Elohim, your Elohim, Ka right there, your Elohim. The F, the Shavutika. The Shavutika is the same word that's connected to the word Shav, which is this word S, the Sheen in the bet is right here. The Sheen in the bet is exactly the same. So they're related. So he's not talking about your fortunes. What he's talking about is your captivity. That's what he's talking about. This word right here is not fortunes. So let me prove to you that it's a mistranslation. Okay. They have fortunes, but it's not fortunes. I'm going to double click on it. And it should tell us to the side right there what it is. According to this website, hopefully. Where's it at? Here, right here. Shuftika. There it is. Can you see it? Yes, you can. Okay, it's right here on the right-hand side. I'm going to show you that word is not fortunes. That word is captives. Do you see it? Let me make it bigger so you can see it. It's right here. Told you. It's not fortunes. It's captives. So in context, he's telling you that you've been taken captive. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to return you. That's what shavut means. I'm going to return your captives, not your fortunes. They mistranslated that word because they're trying to push a narrative. Okay. So I'm going to return your captives. Yahweh, your Elohim, will return your captives. Right here. Your captives. And take you back in love. And Elohim will bring you together again from all the peoples, you individual that he's talking to in the wilderness, from all the peoples where Yahweh, your Elohim, has scattered you. So the only way, and it says, even if your outcasts are at the ends of the world, and it didn't say your outcasts, he says where he scattered you, right here, nidaka, right here. That means to thrust, to impel, and to throw out. He threw you out. Okay? And right here, Bikse, he's got you out of there. To the ends of the what? Hashamayim, from the earth, from Misham to the Yakabatsenu, wherever he scattered you, Yahweh Eloheka, from Misham. From there, he will come and Yikekeka. So he's going to Yikeka. He's going to come and get you. He's going to fetch you himself. So there's nobody's going to come and do that. And then it says, then Yahweh, your Elohim, will bring you into the land, individual, because you're the one who turned back to the Most High. So all Israel's not going to turn back to the Most High. He's going to bring you back to the land that he promised to your ancestors that they're supposed to possess. So then the question is, if this is what's going to happen, and then let me show you this before I move on to the next one. He says he's going to bring you back to that land, and you're going to be more prosperous and numerous than your ancestors, talking about Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Then he says, then Elohim, Yahweh, your Elohim, will open up your heart. That not open up your heart. This is a mistranslation. It's actually to circumcise. So when we look up at the top right here, it says an umal. Right here, the mal right here is circumcision. Look to your right-hand side. Akika knows what he's talking about. Circumcise. Right here. It's not open up. I'm going to circumcise. So your heart is not circumcised while you're in the lands of your nations. So Yah is saying that I'm going to open up your mind. I'm going to circumcise what? Your lavavika. That is your mind. I need to circumcise these two letters right here. This aleph and tav is a marker. It's an arrow that's pointing directly to what he's talking about. So the circumcision that Yahweh is going to do is going to be on the et lavavika. It's going to be on your mind. So when he says that he hasn't given you a mind to understand, he's saying that your mind is uncircumcised. Just like if you had a penis and had the skin covering the head of it, the head is not revealed, so you can't see it. You can't see what's before you. So what he has to do, what he literally saying is that your mind has foreskin on it. So he's got to remove the foreskin off of your mind so you can see, so you can understand. Okay. And he says also the foreskin of the mind of your Zareka, which is your descendants. And he says, and to love, so you can love who? He wants you to love Yahweh. Because you and I don't love Yahweh completely. And he says, with what? With the call, lavavika nu v'kol nafshika. So the lama'an, the yakeka, so that you could be able to, the kayeka, so that you could be able to continue to live. That's the reason why, so that you may live. Yakeka means to live. So this, again, the call here is the idea of everything. It means to be tamed agriculturally. Okay. That's what it is. So the lav is your brain. There it is. It's right here. It just showed you lav right here. It's the brain. It's the inner mind. It's the inner man. It's the understanding. So back in remember in Hebrew, there are no chapters. So when we say chapter number 30, we're thinking, oh, that's set apart from chapter number 29. They're going together. Chapter 29 does not have a break in it. It has this little letter right here that says that I'm going to continue to talk about things. This doesn't mean that the conversation's over. You see? So we don't understand these things. This is the reason why we're having these problems, because people don't understand. Brother, you want to make any contribution? I've been talking. Do you want to?
No, I'm actually listening. I'm just gathering my questions in my head for the Q&A. But I feel like, so I do got one question. When the Most High, we know that when we look at Jeremiah 29, and the Most High says that he's going to take the stony heart and turns it into a heart of flesh, and he's going to pull us from the land where we are captive at, and David's going to sit on the throne. With this Deuteronomy 30 right here, or 29 where we at, is this the same similar prophecy or happening as Jeremiah 29?
Yeah, it's so they do cross, right? So for example, in Jeremiah chapter number 31, he gives you the outline about you being his people and him being your God, right? And anytime he says that, that's a phrase that he says, you will be my people, and then I will be your Elohim. When he talks about that, what he's discussing is the only time that that's ever going to happen is when we're living in the land and when we're underneath his leadership. Whenever that he has done this. So when he talks about I'm going to circumcise and I'm going to give you a new heart and a new mind, what he's literally saying is I'm going to download the Torah and I'm going to give it to you where you can fully understand it. Right now, you and I don't understand the Torah completely. We're getting bits and pieces of it. Like it said, the secret things belong to the Most High, but the things that have been revealed to us belong to us and our children, as you see in verse number 29. So when we come to that time in Jeremiah, he's talking about a time in which the children of Israel are going to receive the Torah in a different manner. Okay. Mm-hmm. So he says it's not, the covenant is not going to change. He said, I'm going to write the laws on your mind. Right. So the first time that we received it, we were taught by a man. We were taught by someone who said, "I'll go for you," and then he said, "You come up here and I'll teach you, and you teach the people," because the people refused to go up on the mountain. So the children of Israel are supposed to they needed to ascend up to the mountain to receive the laws, but because of their fear, they said,
Right.
"No, we're not going to go up on the mountain. We're going to stay right here, and you go and you learn everything, and you come back and tell us what it is."
Right.
In Jeremiah, he's saying that you're going to go up and receive the commandments now. You're going to do it. No man. That's why he says no man is going to teach you, because you were been taught by Moses, and you've been taught by Aaron, and you were taught by Eleazar. You were taught by Pinchas. You were taught by Joshua. You were taught by all these other people. That's not the method and the manner in which we're going to learn the Torah. So that's why he says no man shall teach you. You'll never have another man teach you ever again, because you're going to go up and receive it. Now, when is that going to happen? Well, he brings us back to the wilderness. You're going back to the wilderness.
Right.
So when he talks about in Deuteronomy that I'm going to come and get you and fetch you from where you are, it's only to fetch you like you were in Egypt, to bring you to a place. And the place he's going to bring us is
Right.
the wilderness. So when he speaks to us
So
again this next time, yeah, go ahead.
So when we talk about Deuteronomy's 30 and 29, we know that, these are future prophecies and these are things that the Most High promised us. And so we can almost say that Isaiah 58 is the, so to say, okay, the Most High promised us this thing, but this is what we have to do to fulfill our part. Because a lot of people always will say, you will hear it a lot, like, I'm waiting on y'all, we waiting on y'all make the crooked thing straight, y'all do this, y'all do that. And I always used to ask, like, and I always wondered, like, what is our part? Like, if we waiting on y'all to do something, or waiting on the Most High to do this, or waiting on the Most High, some waiting on David, some waiting on Yeshua, what is our part? And I always got drawn back to Isaiah 58. Go ahead.
Well, the thing about it is that what he's asking from us is very simple. It is to turn back to him with all of our heart and all of our soul. So we're having to adopt a different way of approaching him. So if we notice what he said to us, he told us that the reason why he's done what he's done to us in Deuteronomy chapter number 28, he says, is because I've given you everything and you didn't appreciate it. You didn't appreciate it. And they were never wholehearted with the Most High. That's why Shema Yisrael is very important. The Shema is very important because it tells us to love Yah with all your heart and all your soul and with all your might. That's the command,
Correct.
right? That's one of the. So we fail because we don't know what that means. We don't know what that looks like. So the taming of one's mind and it's not talking about perfection, by the way, because in Hebrew to be perfect means to be complete. Right. So what he's talking about is that if you turn to me, you need to have a heart like Caleb, like how Caleb was. Caleb was wholehearted. He said, out of all the men that went in and did, went and spied out the land, Caleb is the only one besides Yehoshua, but he mentions Caleb specifically because of his loyalty and devotion. He said he's a man after my own. He's loyal to me. He has a heart, and part of his name is mine. Caleb. The Lev is the heart, like-minded. So he's like-minded, and so the Most High wants us to be like-minded, and He wants us to be wanting to receive it. Because when we said everything that you said we'll do, we didn't mean it. There's a lot of testimony to the fact that we lied and said we'll do what you say. So we haven't been wholehearted. So to answer that question about what is it that He requires for us to be wholehearted and to give our heart and to give our soul. And He's not, and you can't. Those are the things that He wants. So people are like, well, okay, well, you don't have any offerings to give. So I guess you're out of the loop because He only wants offerings. Well,
right.
He doesn't want just offerings. And if He did give you an offering, He tells you, in the book of Psalms 50, He says, hey, what do I want? If you offer me a thanksgiving offering from the fruit of your lips, I'll accept that. He says, if you in Hosea chapter number 13, bring the 14, bring the offering of my lips. What are the sacrifices? David said in 51, a broken heart and a contrite spirit.
Mhm.
So there are sacrifices. And he says, well, offers thou wouldest not, but thou hast prepared me, you've given me a body, right? Right, to hear and to understand. He said, here I am. So they like to take away the idea about sacrifice, but Yah's sacrifices are not limited to the bulls and the goats. It's not like he has a problem with the bulls and the goats. The bulls and the goats represented the attitude of the people. So when he says you got to bring it perfect, he says, then you need to be perfect. Well, where's that at? Well, he told Abraham that if you're going to walk before me, be perfect.
Be perfect.
And Abraham was able to be perfect. He lived perfectly. He make mistakes. Mistakes is part of perfection. So the idea that he's looking for perfection or to be pure or to be wholehearted, he's looking for wholeheartedness. And our fathers were wholehearted with the Most High. So Abraham achieved it, Yitzchak achieved it, and Yaakov achieved it. So the problem is that the descendants of Yaakov are not like their fathers. And that's the problem. We haven't been like our fathers. We haven't been like Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. We don't recognize what we stood for, right? That's what Jacob and Yaakov wanted us to know, right? And I think it's only fair that I show that scripture right quick. I know I'm jumping around, but I want to definitely show people what the Most High was asking for. What does our ancestors say that the Most High is looking for? Right. And so Genesis 48 tells us that when he's conveying this blessing, and here in context, Joseph is bringing his sons, and he wants them to get their inheritance. And he says, okay, let me see. I just want to go right to what he says. Okay, here it is. So in chapter number 48 of Genesis, verse number 15, it says, and he blessed Joseph, saying, the God in whose ways my fathers Abraham and Isaac walked, the God who has been my shepherd from my birth to this day, the messenger, which is the Malach, who has redeemed me from all harm, bless these lads, talking about Manasseh and Ephraim, and in them may my name be recalled, meaning Yisrael, and the names of my fathers, Abraham and Yitzchak, and may they be a teeming multitude, right? So he's giving them all that. And so where's the part where he says that I want them to know you shall invoke the name of Israel. No, blessed was. I want to get the right one for your shepherd to this day. He says something about kiss them, embrace them, expected you in here. Let your say children as well. Joseph removed his knees and loins, facing right hand alone. Okay. He mentioned something about and they don't have it here, but it talks about, okay. So in English, it's not saying it, but in Hebrew, it talks about how they're supposed to know the ways of my fathers. So when it talks about in the names of my fathers, okay, right? Up here it says in Ushami. Let me see. The Ushami, the Washem, okay? So the shame, someone's name in Hebrew means their character. So what he was saying here is not just their names, because they know their names. What he's talking about is not that they would know the names of my fathers. What he's talking about is if they would know the character of my fathers and the way that they live their lives. That's what he's talking about from a Hebraic understanding. Okay? So that's what we're talking about. So the problem with us is that we don't know the character of our fathers. We don't know that. And when you look again in Genesis and just to sum it up, to give us more context or more understanding, when you look at Genesis, it tells you how Abraham, chapter number 26, it tells you how our father was with the Most High. 26:5 tells us this. It says that inasmuch as Abraham or Abraham obeyed me, and he kept my charge and my commandments, my laws, and my teachings, which right here tells us that he guarded. This is called mishmaret or mishmarti. He mishmarti the mitzvotai, my mitzvotai, which is my commandments, and my kukotai, which is my laws, and my Torah tie. He kept my Torah. That's what our fathers have done. They kept his laws. Whatever laws that he gave to them, they kept them, and they did it wholeheartedly. You see?
Yeah, they still walk upright. I gotta say that. Especially Abraham. And this right here, this scripture actually has a significance in so many different ways, because a lot of people say, well, the Torah, it wasn't no laws that was established before Torah, and it says it right here that Abraham obeyed me and kept my charge.
Yeah, he kept my Torah. Yeah, this word right here, is my Torah. It's the Torah tie. There it is. T-O-R-T-I. So it's Torah tie, which is my Torah, my instructions. So, but we understand that the instructions that he gave to Abraham is different than the instructions that he gave to Jacob or Israel, and that's found in Deuteronomy chapter number 5. That he tells you that the laws and the statutes and commandments that I'm giving today are different, and he says it right here. Deuteronomy chapter number 5. Moses summoned all Israelites and said, "Hear, O Israel, the laws and rules that I proclaim to you this day, study them and observe them faithfully. Our Elohim Yahweh made a covenant with us at Koreb. It is not with our ancestors that Yahweh has made this covenant." It's a different covenant. Different. So when he gives the instructions to Abraham, he followed what his instructions were. So it's not like he's minimizing his instructions. What he's saying is, for every group of people that he deals with, he'll give them the instructions that he wants to give to them. For us, his instructions he hasn't given to anyone else. You're the only people that know his instructions. And because of that, since he's revealed himself to us, we're going to be held responsible for the instructions that has been given to us. You see? So you say, well, where's that at, Akika? Where are you talking about? We're the only people. You talking about he didn't give it to the nations? He hasn't told them anything? No, he hasn't given them his laws, his statutes, his commandments. He's only given it to the children of Israel. Chapter 140, I think it's 147 or 148. That talks about, I think it's in verse number 19, if I'm not mistaken, hopefully. Is it 117? Is it 118? 10 wings, 19. Oh, no, it must be 147. I'm sorry. So 147. There it is. I was correct. So he says he issued his commands to Jacob. Okay. So that word right there, magid. Magid means he made known. It's not that he issued, he made known. He caused to make known his words to Yaakov and his kukokah, which is his decrees, and his judgments to Yisrael. So his statutes are his kukokai, and his mishpatai is his rulings to Yisrael. And he says, listen, he did not do so for any other nation. Of such rules, which means his judgments, they do not know. They do not yada'un. They do not know. They're not knowing. Do you understand? So there's no other people that know Yah's rulings. They don't know his judgments, except for the children of Israel. Period. So the New Testament don't know. So when they start interpreting and they start writing out what they see and what they read and put together they package, they don't know. They don't know. That's why, you look at the book of Hebrews, they don't even know who the author is. The book of Matthew, they don't know who the author is. They don't know who the author of these so-called writings are. Okay. So that's pretty much. So what you and I need to do, and I think in conclusion about what we need to do, and just to summarize everything we've been talking about, Here's the final nail in the coffin, okay, for lack of better terms.
Yeah,
What you
drive it home.
Yeah, well, here's the drive home. In the book of Leviticus, chapter number 26, he tells you about all the blessings and the cursings that will happen. Then he tells you all the curses and all the bad disciplines that he's going to do to us if we don't do what he says. Okay. But this is the most important part that you and I need to take from this. Okay. In chapter number 26, let's begin in verse number 40. Okay. Now let's say 39. No, let's do 38 because I want you to understand it. Okay. Verse 38 tells you something. It says, but you're going to perish among the nations. See that? And the land of your enemies shall consume you. Okay. So you're in the land of your enemies and you're in the land that consumes you. And this is where you're going to die. That's part of the punishment. It says, and those of you who survive will be heartsick over their iniquity. Same group of people he's talking to in the land of your enemies. More, they shall be heartsick over the iniquities of their forebears. And here's what we need to do. While you're in the lands of your enemies, they shall confess. So that's part of what you need to do. You need to confess. Okay. And that right here, this word confession in Hebrew, these letters right here tells you that the way that this is being conjugated or being expressed or being telling you how the action is supposed to be done in Hebrew, something can be done in 7 different ways. Okay, so it could be done in a simple way, it could be done in a forceful way, it could be done in a causative way, it could be done in a reflexive way. And in all those ways that I just mentioned can be either passive or they can be active. But this 2 letters right here, this heat wadu, because this is the name of the word confess, it's talking about you, the last letter here, u, tells you it's talking about a group of people. He said when heat wadu. So when he's talking about they, that they right there is that u right here. They shall confess. Okay, the confession is this wada. That wada right there is the confession. But it's telling you how you should confess. These 2 letters right here tell you that it's something that has to come from within you. You have to cause yourself to confess. It's not going to be, I'm going to tell you to confess. I'm going to force you to confess. I'm going to tell you to go to a confession booth. I'm going to make you feel bad about what you and your ancestors have done. Someone else is going to cause you to feel this way. That's not what he's looking for. He's talking about a heat wadu. He's saying that you are something you have to cause yourself to do. Just like you dress yourself in the morning, you put your clothes on, you're going to have to cause yourself to feel this way. You're going to have to cause your own confession. Okay. And what you're going to confess is this, remember, these 2 letters right here, the arrow, he's going to point you to what you need to confess. What you need to confess right here is this awonam. Okay. Awonam is, they have here is iniquity, but that's a generalization of what this word means. This word is talking about perversity. It's talking about your twistedness and how your mind is. Your mind is twisted. And Akika, why would you say that? It's an insult. No, our minds, and I won't say your mind, I'll say our minds have been twisted and they've been contorted and they've been perversed because you are looking at things from your perspective. You're not looking at it from Yahweh's perspective. Yahweh's perspective is straight. Our ways and what we've been taught has been the ways of the nations. And so and all the ways that we have been taught by our ancestors have been perverted. Remember, he said, up to this very day, I haven't given you eyes to see, ears to hear, and a heart to understand, right? So you don't know, a mind to understand. And not only are you going to confess that, but you're going to confess the awon, same word, but just conjugated differently. Here's right here, awon is the same as owonam right here, okay? The awonam is what you're going to do, and here it is, the wa'et of avotam, your fathers, the iniquity of your fathers. So here it says your forebearers, which you're talking about, your avotam, your fathers, because father right here is av, and atam right there is your fathers. Okay, and you're going to do this, right? And so that they have also the work that they have done, because this word right here means work. have done, in which they have done, the ma'alu that they have done to me. You're going to, what they've done against me. And Yah is telling you that it's not only what you have done, but it's also what your ancestors have done against me. They have been going against me. They've been working against what I want and what I've said. And you're going to confess that, and you're going to confess that you and that they, excuse me, are going against me. The halaku in this halak right here means to walk. And the u is they. That u right there, the last letter, this last letter right here is they. And this halak right here is to halak means to walk. But it's when it's talking about walk, how they live. They're living in opposition and hostility to me, because that word hostility is bakari. And bakari means in hostility, to argue with me. That's what it means. It means to come and to confront me. Okay, the kari right here, this letter right here is to gather, and this right here, the next letter is heads. So it's the head of the people that, you generally, when the people would have a discussion, they had a confrontation or contention, they would go to the gates of the city and they would sit and talk to each other, and they would have arguments about things. So with the Most High is saying that you're contending with me just like your ancestors did. You've been hostile towards me. That's hostility. You're arguing with me about what I want you to do and what I called you to do. So the thing that we need to do is we need to cause ourselves to confess the iniquity of ourselves and the iniquity and the perversity of our forefathers. And we need to tell the Most High, we need to tell him and confess that they have gone against you through the work that they did, and that they were hostile towards the Most High. If you never say what your ancestors did and what you have done to the Most High, that you have, if you say I'm not hostile to the Most High, you're lying. If you're saying that I've never transgressed the Most High, you're lying. If you say your ancestors didn't do it, you're lying. If you say that your mother and your grandfather and your big mom and grandpa and those people didn't do it, Mima and all these other people and Papa, they did not, and uncle and auntie and all these other people you loved, and you're making them innocent, then you still haven't learned your lesson. So you haven't really truly confessed.
Right.
See? So 41 says, when I in turn have been hostile to them. So where is he hostile towards us at? He's been hostile because you're in the lands of your enemies, people. You understand? And it means that at last they're in abhorrent heart, okay, will humble itself. They shall atone for their iniquity, because that's how how you atone, is by being put out of the land. And I have other verses to show you this, okay? But you have to do that. Then he says, after you do all this, then I'll remember my covenant with Jacob, okay? Things that I told him. I will remember Zakar. I will also remember my covenant with Yitzchak and my covenant with Abraham. More specifically, talking about the land, the promise to be their Elohim and to give you land and to give it to your descendants. And I will remember the land, because that's what that covenant's about, okay? Then he says, for the land shall be forsaken of them, okay? And making up for its Sabbath years by being desolate of them. So now the land is getting her Sabbaths while they atone, because that's what you're doing while you're in the lands of your enemies. You're atoning for your perversity. Your punishment is being paid by you being in the lands of your enemies. And for the abundant reason, and for that abundant reason, that they rejected my rules and spurned my laws. So you have to acknowledge that you hated Yah's laws and rulings. And the only way that you can truly acknowledge that is not just by saying it, but by changing the course of action and saying, I don't want to do that anymore. Okay. And so he said, yet even when they are in the land of their enemies, because that's where we are, I will not reject them. So I'm not going to do you dirty. I'm not going to do you like you did me. I'm not going to spurn you like you spurned me. You rejected my rulings and you spurned my laws, but I'm not going to reject you and spurn them or destroy them, annulling my covenant with them. So he says, if I destroy them, I would be annulling my covenant. I will be getting rid of my covenant with them. I haven't got rid of my covenant, for I am Yahweh their Elohim. He said, I will remember in their favor the covenant with the ancients. So they're changing the language here. So you would think that he's just talking about the ancients of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He said, was zakarti telahim b'barita b'rishanim, meaning I am going to remember the covenant. This is a covenant right here, the barit, the rishonim, the first covenant. I'm going to remember the first covenant that I made with them. And when did he make that? He made that at Har Sinai. He made that on the mountain. Okay. He says, in which I share the Hotziti, that I brought their Otam from the Me'aretz and the Mitzrayim. I'm going to remember that covenant. In the La'ani of the Hagoyim, to Leo, to the Lehem, the Lelohim Ni'ani Yahweh, meaning that I am going to do this in like I did in the sight of the nations, to be, to Leo, to mean to exist, to Lehem, to Lelohim, as their Elohim. And then he finally finishes with Ani Yahweh, which means I am Yahweh. And the reason why he says I am Yahweh is because he tells you that I'm your Elohim. Then he said that I'm the one who gave you the covenant, because these are essentially the first words that he's used in the covenant that he made with the people of Israel. Anoki Yahweh Eloheka, I need Yahweh. I am the one that made this covenant. And he's going to remember the ones that he brought out of the land of Egypt. So he's not done with our covenant, people. Okay. Then he says, Ele de hakukim ha-mishpatim and white Torah. I shared in the Tana Yahweh the Benon and Uvain and the Bnei of Yisrael and the Behar of Sinai. He says, Ele, these are the laws. These are the kukim. These are the ha-mishpatim, the rulings. These are the Torah. This is the ha-torot. These are the instructions that Yahweh established and which he gave through Moshe on Mount Sinai, on Har Sinai, which you have right here, Bahar Sinai, on the Bayada Moshe. And then it has this little P right here, means it's the end of the discussion. It's over. The teaching's done. See? So that's what we need to understand. That's what we need to do. And our people are not, and we're not saying that if you can't acknowledge that he sent you into exile, then you still ain't learned your lesson. You say I'm going to return to the laws and statutes and commandments, that's fine, but that's not what he's just asking for only.
Right.
He's asking first to acknowledge. Acknowledge what you and your ancestors did and how they hated my laws. You got to say that. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, if you don't say that, then you ain't learned. So you ain't truly hit wadu. You ain't hit wadu.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Talks about that in Leviticus 26 too. That if we what does it say? That we would think ourselves, not to think ourselves, but that we humble ourselves, turn back to him, and think about our sins from our ancestors, their past, and let's go to it, because I don't want to be messing it up.
Yeah. Well, it's true.
It says if you go down like about, I think it's here we go. I remember my covenant of Isaac, and for the land. But if you go up, it talks about how we were. Yeah, and it's a beautiful thing that that when you read this scripture, this is what the Most High, everything that we have been talking about, y'all, is that it keys into Isaiah 58. Because when he talks about he wants a contrite heart, to break the bonds of wickedness. Leviticus 26 tells us to do that. Yeah. Deuteronomy 30 tells us to do so. And it's like a roadmap, because it starts off with Leviticus 26, and then it goes to Deuteronomy, and then to all the other things, all the other scriptures, but it's a roadmap telling you that, this is how you get back in line with the Most High. And we definitely do. I know I can't speak for nobody else, but I know that I need to get back in line and get back together with the Most High, because it's a lot of things that I have been in, a lot of things that I've done that just ain't always been appeasing and the best to the Most High. I know that. So with each coming Sabbath, each coming day, we have to get better. We have to meditate in His Word. We have to understand, and we have to atone. And with Yom Kippur coming up, I think we might have to do something about it, do another lesson on that too, because the 7th month of our year is one of the most holiest months, y'all. holiest months, and it has a lot of symbolism to it, a lot of symbolism. And yeah, we might have to touch on that. We definitely got to touch on that because
Yeah,
I got a lot of input on that one because the 7th month is something special. And just to give y'all a little tidbit on it, statistically, y'all can go fact check me, but statistically, during the months of, let's say, September and October, which is usually when our 7th month hit, September, October, the most people die during that time period. That's crazy, ain't it? The most people die during that time period, and we think that just because we make it to the Yom Kippur, that we automatically get that covering, and that ain't the case. That ain't the case. But we ain't gonna talk on that. We ain't gonna touch on that. But we had a beautiful build, man, and a brother really showed us, and he woke me up to a couple things too that that I was slacking on, and some of the things that he showed us. So all praises. This was a beautiful lesson, beautiful build, brother. We appreciate you and your wisdom and knowledge the Most High's giving you.
Well, thank you. I want to address Smooth Advisor made a comment. Akika, are you saying that Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov all lived perfect lives? Well, we have to look at that word perfect, okay? And that word perfect means complete. That's what it means, right? So our idea of perfection from an Eastern standpoint perspective is different. So when he talked about, he told Abraham, he said, look, when you walk before me, when you live before me, be perfect. That's what I need you to do. I need you to be tamim. And tamim means to be complete. That means to be whole, nothing missing. And so what it's talking about is that they lived in a way that made it very clear that they were wholehearted with the Most High. So they weren't, I'll listen to what you want to say when I want to listen to it. I'll do what you say when I want to do it. I'll advise you and don't follow you. He says that I'm your master. When Abraham addressed the Most High, he called him master. Hey, master, judge of all the earth. So they understood this relationship with the Most High. They had a great deal of reverence and respect for him, and they were wholehearted with the Most High. And because of that wholeheartedness, because of that tamim, because of that way that they lived their lives, that allows their descendants after them to be the beneficiaries of all of the faithfulness that they had towards the Most High. Like we saw today in our Torah portion about Pinchas, that his descendants after him were able to benefit off of the work that he has done, because that's what the legacy is. So Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, they left a legacy for us, right? And the legacy is not just the land, but it's how they live their lives. That's why Yaakov said, hey, I want these two boys to know what my father, Abraham and Yitzchak, stood for. I want them to understand who they were, what was their character. So that's what we're talking about, living perfect lives. So the Most High looks at that and he determines not, and perfect doesn't mean that you're not going to make a mistake. It doesn't mean that. I know we've been told if you make a mistake, not perfect. No, no, you're complete. You're 100% on board with whatever he says. So we have to search our hearts. Yeah. Just wanted to address that.
Good point. Good point. And good question, brother. We appreciate all questions, all comments. Like and share and like the live, y'all, and share it so people can, get these jewels that we delivering to the people, we definitely are going to be doing this a lot more. We're going to be coming up with some more controversial topics. More controversial topics, and not always, but we're going to have some definitely good topics to come for the Sabbath, for the Shabbat. I personally wanted to talk about this because Yom Kippur was coming up, and a lot of people have that we gotta fast, or we don't fast, and it's just so much division in doctrine. doctrines are different. Everybody got to see it differently. Everybody, and I get it. We ain't gonna get it right. You know, the crooked things are gonna be made straight by the Most High. But if, if we ain't, if we don't start off crooked, then they won't have to be made uncrooked by the Most High, right? You know, so what I mean by when I say that is if we come to the table of brotherhood and sisterhood, sit down and brother, this is what I see. What do you see? And then we compare notes, and then after we can compare notes, then okay, well, let's come into a common ground. And sometimes, you know, it's good to just, you know, yield to wisdom that's higher than yours, to a knowledge set or an understanding set that's higher than yours. Like that's why, you know, you like, brother, you want to get you is anything you want to tap in. I'm like, like you smarter than me, you know. But you know, and it's a beautiful thing because I love to learn. I love to know that I'm not the smartest person in the room, you know. And there's a lot of brothers and sisters out here that have a lot to contribute, just like our brother. And definitely, y'all want to get on here, man. Let's do it. Like, you know, we can have a three-way conversation. You know.
Yeah, I would like to see. I like for them to see a great healthy conversation between someone who's a Christian and someone who knows the Torah. That's what I want. Yeah,
that would be a good conversation too.
and that's what I really want. I want to see. I want you to have a guest on they're open to dialogue and conversation.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, just so we can share ideas. And when we share those ideas, we're looking for the truth, right?
Definitely.
That's what we're looking for, because the truth
Definitely.
is stronger than facts are stronger than faith.
Right. Right.
So yeah.
Like I said, I got a brother, man. He's strong in that Bible. I gotta say, he's strong with that New Testament. Like I had him on on the audio podcast, and like you know, I'm so agreeable. I don't like when it comes to certain like platforms. I'm not gonna show no strife, no disunity. So, and that's not what my podcast is about. So. Like I'll be so agreeable, but when
you may not want me on the podcast. You may not want me on the podcast.
And it sucks that I'm like that, but it's just that I've been with so many years and so long with this debating and going back and forth.
I got you. Yes, that. But healthy debate is good, right? My picture, my PTR is different, right? So I'm like this very lion that you see right here. I love engagement. I love it. I absorb it. I'm respectful. You know, I mean, I ain't gonna cuss nobody out or nothing, but I do want to have that conversation. So if you can find a way to get this guy to come on to make it, yeah, we need to, get the podcast. We need opposing views. That's what we need.
Right.
Right. That's what we
need. I think that I'm gonna set that up for next Saturday. I'm gonna have you. I'm gonna have a Christian brother, and I'm gonna get my Muslim brother.
Yeah, bring them on. I would love to. Yeah, I would love to engage.
We just go sit here, and I'm just go moderate. I don't want to tap in. I don't want to I want to moderate. And let's just see what the bill go, how the bill go, and what type of bill that we build. Like,
that would be great. The battle royal. I love that. So or just it's a very scholarly, right? So I'm on that level. I want to have that type of engagement.
Oh
yeah, for sure. Because the people I be talking to,
I got the people I could feed them to you. I mean, we can put them on here with you, and let you eat them up. I mean, it's like. But we gonna get to it, bro. I'm anxious, like, cause like how you just broke down that part of Deuteronomy when it was like, man, well, I knew that it wasn't talking to that generation at that time, but the way you brought it out, it was like, I'm just sitting here listening, like I wanted to scratch my head, but I ain't want to look stupid. So
No,
that's
it's
why I
okay.
got quiet. I was like,
No, letting us know that you're those people. Otherwise, what he's asking from us wouldn't make any sense. Because I've already told you.
yeah. Well, no,
Otherwise,
nobody never.
otherwise, he could not hold you responsible. You're suffering from the causes of our ancestors, right? So biologically, we're transmuted through time through biological processes, right? But our souls are being transferred. So you might have been in a different body, but the soul is still the same. That's what makes you special, is that you go through time and you ended up with a place that says, who has ever heard anything so grand, so wonderful as this? Is that you're the people that he spoke to there, and you don't know it.
We the people in that book, y'all.
That changed, yeah. So that changes everything, and it changes your desire to hit wadu. It changes your reaction to say what you need to say, because you could be saving your generations coming down the line biologically, because you're going to be gathered back to your people, right? But you didn't ask to come here. You don't know when you got here. You don't know how many times you don't ask to come. You don't ask to leave. You don't put in an application, say, I want to come down in 1970, blah, blah, blah. I want to be born to this family. You don't get all that. Neither do you know where you're from. But here's the thing. We know that we're eternal because the Most High has said, David said, he said, you knew me before you formed me in my mother's womb. Jeremiah says, he told Jeremiah, I knew you before I even formed you. How could you know something that doesn't exist? So he's our Elohim. So that's what makes us special. And that's what makes us different. You see? Right. So that's the part. So that's how we're accountable, because he's saying you guys are going to return to me. So how could he hold you responsible? How could he tell you this is what I want you to do while you're in the lands of your enemies? If you're not the people that were there.
All praises.
You know what I'm saying? So anyway, thank you so much for today. Yeah, praise be the Most High.
I hope y'all ready for these Sabbaths, man, because we gonna be coming and we gonna be giving it to y'all. We're definitely gonna give it to y'all the way that the Most High told us to give it to y'all, raw and uncut. And if it hurt, it just hurt. Because at the end of the day, the truth does, it's a double-edged sword. But sometimes it only cuts your ass, it don't cut me. You know what I'm saying? So I'll pray to the Most High. This your boy Beta with the Spit Your Truth podcast, and we are in the I'm about to say it right. Don't correct me. Akika. See, I'm looking at the crazy part, y'all. I'm looking at it on the screen too, so y'all know I'm dyslexic as hell. Like, but we here with my brother Akika, and this is his segment. His segment, y'all. Shabbat Talk on every Shabbat at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 1 p.m. post Pacific Standard Time. I forgot to put that in the flyer, y'all. Y'all know that we in two different time zones, but we still getting it in. All praise to the Most High. So definitely tune in next week. I got we have the audio podcast on Wednesdays. This is like the third week. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm gonna work on it today after the Shabbat. And y'all have an audio podcast to listen to for next week and then the week after next. And hopefully we can get some more going on. But and then I'm gonna try to do every Friday, do a live every Friday or something like that, an interview or something like that. So big things coming from Spit Your Truth podcast, Simon Studios, and a brother Aki. We're gonna make good sense of this scripture and let the people know what they need to know. So what you want to tell the people before we get on out of here, bro?
I just want to tell us thank everyone who was able to attend. I sure do appreciate your support. I see a lot of the people who are already part of my group, my my classes who come and listen. So I want to thank Smooth Advisor, Rivqua, Roni, Daweed, all of the people that you see in the chat. Those are people who actually come and support me in my other teachings. So I want to thank everybody for that. I want to thank the other listening audience. I want you to know that I don't have all the answers, but what I do is I try to seek out the definite truth about what we're looking at. So the English language, you're already at a disadvantage because it's not telling you exactly what has been said. So we want to continue to understand the scriptures from its original agricultural perspective. But I want to thank you all again, and I say Shabbat Shalom to all of you. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Shabbat shalom. We hope that y'all enjoy the rest of y'all Shabbat and have a Shuva Tov, a good week, good work week, and we'll see you next week.
Hallelujah.
Peace.
Peace.
Hallelujah.